Welcome to Let's Get Into It. I am your host, Sherelle Higgins. Let's Get Into It is a safe space to have real conversations that are meant to uplift, encourage, and let you know you are not the only one dealing with life. Each episode of Let's Get Into It is designed to provide illuminating and thought-provoking information on a variety of topics. In fact, no topic is off limit. If you would like to see a topic discussed, please feel free to make a recommendation. My special guest and I will have a great time discussing topics that the mainstream media wouldn't dare discuss. We will bring these conversations to you with an open mind, respectfully, from different perspectives, and most importantly, with love. Thank you for joining me and my special guest. Now, let's get into it. Hello, can you hear me now? Let me know in the chat. Send me a text message. Let me know if you can hear me. Melissa,
Yes.
can you? Okay, sit tight for me. All right.
Hey, Melissa.
Melissa, am I coming in loud and clear?
Yes, you are.
It's not muffled.
No,
Okay. Perfect. Sit tight. All right. So we had some technical difficulties. And so I had to reboot my computer, and here we are. And as I was saying that you all didn't hear or it sound muffled, sometimes you have to pivot. And when you have to pivot, you don't necessarily have time to think about what the pivot looks like and what the outcome of the pivot will be. You just got to pivot. And so I had to pivot tonight, and it's all good, right? And so today on Let's Get Into It, I am going to be talking to my guest. And we're going to talk about the behind the scenes shenanigans of not only putting on a fashion show, but how you go about picking models for the fashion show, the scenes for the fashion show, etc. And so I really appreciate you all and your patience, because sometimes we need patience. I don't always have them, but sometimes you need patience. And so to make sure that you get the full gist of what we're going to talk about, I had to start over, and it's all good. So with that being said, I would like to introduce you to my guest today, Melissa Dene. Dene or Dene?
Dene.
Dene. Okay. All right. I want to make sure I get your name right. Who is not only a Virginia State alumni. Yes, one time for VSU. I love it. I love it. I love it. But also, we're going to just kind of walk you through what we are going to be doing on Saturday, June 14th, for the fashion show. So thank you, Melissa, for agreeing to be on the podcast and to talk about the fashion show that you are putting together on Saturday.
Thank you for having me on. I'm honored. It's a privilege.
Good. So let's start with some basic questions. What is it about fashion that drew your attention?
I would say from being a young teenager, I always loved clothing, and I always wanted to look different than everybody else in high school. So my mom said to me one day, well, we're not going to be buying outfits every time you got something going on. So I started making my own clothing and made clothing for everybody else, made gowns, made wedding dresses, even before I got to Virginia State. So fashion just became that thing for me where I knew I could create what I wanted. And my parents said it started when I was like 5 or 6. They bought me the sewing machine that had the glue, and I would take handkerchiefs, the flowered handkerchiefs, I would make the dress. The white handkerchief, I would make the jackets. And it just took off from there. So by the time I got in high school, I was literally making outfits for everybody in school. Remember the zoot pants that were real baggy and the guys would do that dance in the middle of the street? I would make those for $20 a pair. And guys would come and get 3 pairs at a time. So I always had that entrepreneur in me, but the fashion side came because I just wanted to be different. And I realized you can be different because I can make everything that I wanted back then.
Okay. And so when you went to Virginia State, what was your major?
Fashion, merchandising, and marketing.
Okay. And that, I assume, I hate to assume because you know what that means, but that kind of helped you launch even further into the fashion world.
It did. At State, literally, I was just thinking today, I used to make clothing for the Q's balls, all their bow ties, the Deltas. I would do things for them, the AKAs, the red and white ball, the inauguration, made gowns for young ladies. There was a Delta Nardis. I made a gown for her. It just was so many people. And I kind of was like an introverted school because a lot of people didn't know I was doing all this because I would be in my room, but I was very, I guess you would say, talented. And the talent made me be more outgoing and made me be an entrepreneur. And I didn't even know I was an entrepreneur then. So Virginia State, big ups to Virginia State. You blossomed this quiet, shy country girl into this entrepreneur today that I'm just, I don't ever stop, and it's always more. But with fashion, when I see like you, fashionista, when I see fashionistas, I just love it because fashionista is that personality that you are. It speaks volume. You can walk into a room and not have to say anything. Your fashion will say everything, about you. And I just love fashion.
So we have something in common. People find this hard to believe, but I'm also an introvert. Um, And people think that if you're introverted, you're shy or you're quiet, or, it's just a matter of where you get your energy, right?
Yes.
And so I get my energy from myself and not from being around other people. I was talking to a girlfriend just a little while ago, and she said I always be making up things that is not true. And so that would be one of those things that fall in that category. And so let's talk about um, why you decided to put together this fashion show.
Well, I've been doing fashion shows. I started at State, and so I was 20 years old, and I'll be 60 in December. So I've been doing it forever. But when I do a show, it's always for a great cause because I never keep the money for me. It's always to bless someone. I've helped a woman who needed a kidney, so I raised money that night. Then the hospital auxiliary wanted to expand the ward. I did a show that night. So I've been doing shows for over 40 years. This show in particular, I ran for Miss EFBC at my church 2 years ago. And in 2 months, I had to put together a show. And literally, I put together that show in 2 months. I think it was about 18 models, and we had 250 people in the audience come. And I ended up winning Miss EFBC. I would say from the combination of things that I did. But this show here in particular is to help my church burn the mortgage. So when I was petitioned, will you do another show? And I said, well, what is it for? Because we want to burn the mortgage, and will you contribute? Absolutely, because I'm a PK. Of course, no one knew at State, and maybe that's why I was kind of quiet too. You raise a little different, so I kind of stayed away from the crowd, but I was amongst the crowd because of all the gifts that I brought to the crowd. Because I not only made clothing in college, I did hair. So my room was half was the clothing and designing side, and the other side was doing hair. So that was that triple, that double entrepreneur. But this show truly is to bless my church. We're going to burn the mortgage. We are there. And this is why I'm doing it. But also in practice, I had a gentleman tell me, he said, this is boost my self-esteem. And that for me was priceless, more than the money that I know we're going to make, because some people walk around and you don't know they suffer from this, they suffer from that. So this is helping him come out of a shell, and he's about probably 65. All his life he may have suffered from self-esteem, but this is helping him not suffer from that. Or females may say the same thing. So if it's going to help them become that better person after the show, that was worth it all to me. But the main focus for me is to help my church burn the mortgage and have people come out and enjoy a good evening.
I have said this many of times on this podcast about people with who struggle with low self-esteem. I had no idea that that was even a thing until I was well into adulthood. And because the way I was raised, and we were raised with self-esteem, and all of my cousins had self-esteem. I come from a family that's majority female, and so we all had self-esteem, and so did my male cousins. And so I just didn't know that that was a thing. And when I found out that it was a thing, I was shocked. I was like, "What do you mean you don't like something about yourself? Like, if you don't like you, who else do you expect to like it?" And so to hear that a gentleman is doing it because he wants to boost his self-esteem, I love that for him.
Yeah.
Uh, my self-esteem is through the roof. I have a girlfriend who always clown me about it. I was talking to her the other night and she was like, "And how many sisters do you have?" I said, "I have 7 sisters." She was like, "No, it's 8." And I was like, I said, "Well, I'm the 8th one." She said, "No, it's 8." And I said, "Well, what are you talking about?" She said, that self-esteem and confidence.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
And so I love that. I think everybody on the planet should feel good about who they are. It doesn't matter your size, your color, what you look like. You should just feel good about yourself. And you got to walk in, you got to own it, and you got to walk into it and lean into it and just be grateful that you have what you have. And it may be different than what somebody else has, and that's fine, but you just got to own your stuff. So I'm here for it. So let me ask you, how many models do you have in the fashion show?
I think it's about 22, 23 models in the show. I think it's about 9 guys and the rest are females. And we do have 2 young ladies that are aged 13 and 14 that really can rock the runway. So I had 30 in the beginning, and I always like to start out with a lot in case people fall off. But this one has really been overwhelming because, like yourself, you're in Virginia, another girl's in New York, somebody else is in Philadelphia, so they can't make it to all practices all the time, but we communicate. We're all on the same page. I'm used to everybody being there, and we just practice, 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 practice. But with this show, I pick fashionistas like yourself. When I pick women for this show, I pick women who walk out the house every day, fabulous, owning it. They walk to the grocery store like, "Don't you see me? Don't you know who I am?" So, and to me, that's not a cockiness, that's not an arrogance. It's like what you said, you own it, you know. And I think that's a confidence that we as Black women need to pass on to this new generation that's coming on, and let them know that you should walk in confidence. When you go in to get that job, they may not hire you based off of your skill, but they may see something else in you that will help you get that job, or get another position. But the models that I did for this show were based off of bringing more excitement and not just walking, and they had a look and they had a flair for clothing as well.
So my sister Sharon always said, don't when you leave the house, you don't want to disappoint your public, right? And so when you talk about going outside the house, I always remember that, right? And I was talking to a young lady the other day, and we were watching something on TV, and the media has stopped this lady, and she disappointed her public, right? And I told her, and I said, "You see this right here?" I said, "See, this will never be me. If I'm outside my house and the media roll up on me, I'm not going to be looking a mess.
Right.
I'm going to be on my A game." Right. And so, it's important to make sure that when you walk outside the house, that you are presentable and that you feel good about who you are and what you have to offer. A couple of weeks ago, my husband and I went out for we were headed out for crabs. And so yes, okay, I'm putting this on the screen right here. Tasia says, "Leave the bonnets at home, ladies."
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, leave the bonnets at home. But a couple weeks ago, my husband and I, we were going out. We were going to go eat crabs, and a neighbor, male neighbor of ours, was going with us. And he looked at me and he said, "Well, where you going?" I said, "We're going to eat crabs." He said, "Well, you don't look like you dressed to eat crabs." I was like, "Well, I don't know what to tell you." And
Right.
it turns out that the place we were going to, the wait was so long, we decided to go somewhere else and not have crabs. And we were laughing about that. And so I said to him, I said, "See, now we're not even eating crabs." And I would have been out here looking like I was about to eat crabs. No, sir. And so, I get that, completely about, when you step outside your house. Now, when you're in the house, now my husband, he'll enjoy this. I may not always be on my A game in the house, but when I step outside the house, I am going to make sure that I fix myself up. And so we have a question.
Mhm.
When and where is the show? Looks like, okay, there you go, Melissa. When and where
The
is the show?
show is at E Zion Fair Baptist Church, Wilmington, Delaware, 19801. And it's at my Wholeness Center at my church, which is really our gymnasium, which is humongous. And we're going to turn it into like a ballroom for the show with the major runway, the lights. Because when I do a show, I like it to be fashion show, like when you go into New York. So that's what it's going to be.
Okay, thank you for that. Um, so yeah, and so when you talked a little bit about how you pick your models, right? And this is my first time um, being in your fashion show. Looks like I lost Melissa.
Um,
Okay, you're there.
okay, there
Okay,
we go.
all right. So
Yeah.
again, look like I lost her again.
Okay.
Okay, you
Okay.
coming in?
Can we hold for a second? Can we hold for a second? My mother keeps calling me, and I don't know how to get.
So, anywho, we're gonna keep this show rolling. And so Melissa reached out to me via social media
Okay.
to
Okay. Sorry about that.
to ask me. I was just getting ready to go into how you selected me to be in your fashion show and how that connection happened.
Well, I've always watched you, over the years, so I know that clothing is something that you're really into, and you seem like myself. I can just wake up, and the outfit that I say I'm going to put on, and I lay it out, is not what I'm gonna wear. I can go in my closet and find the best thing and be fly. And it's something I just went in there and said, doop, doop, doop. That's what I'm going to wear this time. Where I thought I was going to wear that over there. So when I see you or have seen you online, I've always seen different fashion. And what I love about it is you don't care what nobody thinks. That's what I love about it, because that's when you own your clothing. That's when you went and bought it. You bought it for a purpose and a reason. So that's what I love about it also as well, that when I see you, I see only you. I see the original. And so when I was at CIAA and I wanted to say something to you, but of course, I had a faking spell. I don't know what that was, but I passed out and I couldn't say anything because they were putting me in the ambulance. But when I started to put this show together, I was like, okay, I got to call. I got to reach out to her. So in picking you, I just knew you were going to bring your A game for the show. It was going to be something totally different. I do have all different types of women: skinny women, women who wear their hair short, women who are voluptuous, full-figured women. I thought about what you said earlier. Women who have themselves together with on the inside, it projects on the outside, whether you're big or small. And I got some women in the show that 2022, but honey, will work the runway. And I'm doing this to show women that no matter what size you are, own who you are. God gave it to you, big or small. And I have some really small women who suffer from low self-esteem who want the curves. And then the ones who got all the curves, they don't want the curves. But at the end of the day, I say, be original, be who God made you to be, but be that best version of yourself. So when I
Well,
saw you, I was like, I'm connecting to it. And I already knew he was going to say yes.
Well, I have to give a shout out to my parents, right? Because my mom is a fashionista and she buys clothes for me.
Oh, nice, nice,
Well, she really buy them for herself, but she can't fit them, and so she gives them to me.
nice. Wow, wow, that's awesome.
um, my dad is Superfly,
Okay,
right? And he is all about fashion. And so
okay,
I
wow.
get it honestly. Um, One thing about fashion is, people tend to think that what looks good on me may look good on them. And that's not necessarily the case. And so
Absolutely.
I like to tell women in particular, own your own fashion, right? Like whatever you think you feel good in and you look good in, that's what you should wear.
Mhm.
Because everything that I wear doesn't necessarily is not necessarily going to look good on somebody else. And
Absolutely.
I also have to give a huge shout out to my husband because I absolutely hate shopping. I
Wow.
hate all kinds of shop. I don't care if it's the grocery store, shoe shopping, clothes shopping. I don't care what it is. I absolutely hate it. And so my husband picks out a lot
Oh,
of
wow.
my attire.
Okay.
And the fact that he's so secure in his manhood and so secure in our relationship, he doesn't have issues with picking out things that look sexy on me. And so, no, wait, let me answer this question. Is this a fashion show for only women? Absolutely not. There are 9 men in the fashion show. So we encourage men to attend as well. Um, so yes, we want to make sure that we have a diverse audience. And so with my husband, he go out and find some things for me, and he'll say, "You need to go to this store, walk to the back corner on the right, up top is this outfit you need to try it on. Come on, let's go." That's the only way I go to the mall or go shopping because just not about that life. But I like clothes. I have so many of them. I like shoes and accessories. And so for me, fashion is not just the outfit that you wear. Fashion is also about the accessories. It's about the hair, like just from head to toe. I like to be put together when I step out. You mentioned CIAA. Everybody who knows me know I am so serious about CIAA
Absolutely.
and that I am not going to be missing CIAA unless there's something really, really serious going on. And so at CIAA, I get tickled because I put forth thought into what I'm going to wear to CIAA. Because at this point in my life, there's a certain level of expectation when I walk into the parties that people are waiting to see what I'm going to have on.
I think they're calling you Miss CIAA now, right?
Right.
Yes.
And so to me, fashion goes from head to toe. And again, everybody can't rock everything, right? So, for example, my hair. I wear a short cut because I don't want to do no hair, even though I had to do my son's hair today and twist it for 4 hours, but that's a whole different topic. I'm gonna talk about that one day. But I don't want to do hair. And so I wear my hair short and I put, my hairstylist, she colors it, she put the lines in it, and she sent me on my way. And I know you do hair. So how do you um decide or style people's hair based on their personalities?
What you mean for the show, or are you talking about on my
Just
professional
in
level?
general, because you're a hairstylist. So just in general.
Well, I would say the way I do hair today and for the last probably 25 years, I am a hair replacement specialist. So women come to me who may have gotten burned on this whole side of the head. And so I will give them back the look that they had before they lost hair. So I do a lot of that for women, men, children. So I just don't do hair. I have to give them back what they lost and then create a style around that. So then I will pick a style that they can wear daily, that they can look fabulous in when they want to go somewhere, but they feel comfortable in stepping out in front of their peers. So, but when I first started doing hair, when I was 22, on a professional note, right after college, it was more geared toward that person's personality. Now it's geared toward the need, then the personality comes into place, and then longevity. Because doing hair replacement for people who have lost 80% of their hair, it's a totally different ball game. The hair is going to give them that self-esteem back that they lost. I mean, women come to me who won't go on dates because they're afraid that the wig is going to fall off and the man's going to see that they have no hair or they've been burnt on the back of their head, you know? So the kind of work that I do today, I can honestly say picking a hairstyle from them goes through a consultation, seeing what the need is, and then seeing what's best for them and the look that is going to be best for them.
Yeah, and I think that's so awesome because there's so many women who have experienced some type of trauma that impacts their hair, may it be cancer or whatever it is, right?
Yes.
And so having a stylist who you can go to who can recreate what you had before you lost it is important. But I also think folk and guys, it's the same thing. You should go to either a hairstylist or a barber who knows you, understand your personality, and if they don't know you, they're willing to get to know you so that they can create a hairstyle or hairstyles that tap into your personality. It wasn't necessarily my idea to go this short. I used to wear my hair short, but it wasn't this short. But my hairstylist was like, we can ready to do something different. And I had never had my hair colored before until I started going to this hairstylist. And she was like, oh no, ma'am, you need to be platinum. And I was like, I've never had my hair colored before. I don't want my hair falling out. She was like, girl, your hair not gonna fall out.
Right.
And so she, colored my hair, made it platinum, and she said, you are never going back. And so I was like, okay, as long as I look good, I'm cool. And she works her magic every time I go. So I never have to have conversations with her about what to do with my hair when I go see her.
And that's a great relationship that you and her have. And that's what also being a hairstylist is as well. It's not just putting them in the chair, but build that relationship. So when they sit in your chair, they're comfortable. They know that you're going to deliver, or you learn things about them more in that chair that you know what to do and what not to do. And I'm gonna piggyback on men. I do have a lot of men that come to me for hair replacement as well, who may have been burnt in a fire. Some have had cancer, or some just genetically have lost their hair. And it's not just Afro-American men; it's men from Honduras, Italian men, Indian men. I mean, it's all races, Asian men that get these hair replacements, and some of them haven't been in any trauma other than genetics. They're losing their hair, and they don't want to go bald. Where Afro-American men, some of them would just say, "Listen, I'm gonna be Joe. I'm just cut me bald, I'm gonna be chocolate."
Husband.
Yes.
He like forget it. And I love that for him.
Yes.
Yeah. And so with the fashion show, you have wait a minute, let me see. We have something. Hurley Jackson's. Hey, Hurley Jackson. My late wife hair fell out because of chemo. I begged her not to wear a wig. She was absolutely beautiful with no hair. Yes, she was. I made her laugh. I told her I have never asked for some hair. You will get that on the way home. Yeah, she was absolutely beautiful with no hair.
Wow.
So with the different scenes for the fashion show, how do you come up with those scenes?
Normally, I pick scenes that are my favorite fabrics. I'll do it that way. Or I'll go with some of the trends, like the boots on the ground. This has been a big deal. So I definitely did a denim scene, but I built around it the accessories with the boots on the ground and the boots and the blingy hats and things like that. And then I try to also keep the audience engaged and excited. Just a basic show, people get bored, so they want to see something. So fabrics like sequins, that's exciting. What else? I also do. I'm doing something for this show that's very, very different. And this is a God honest truth. I came up with this scene because I kept waking up in the middle of the night, hearing rain, hearing, and I'm saying, what in the world? And then I just built a scene around rain. So I won't tell you any more about it. If you come into the show, you will see but God gives me stuff like that. When he keeps coming at me or keeps waking me up, I know it's something that I need to do with that. And that may be because there's a season coming of rain, but when season of rain comes, then there's a harvest coming as well. And that may be something for me. Or maybe for somebody else to know that when it rains and there's a season of a harvest coming, because when all that rains, things populate, so I don't know what this scene came from, but I'm telling you, I could not get away from the rain. But different scenes in the show are my favorite fabrics, like fur coats. I love fur coats, mink coats. I'm not going to do that this year because we're in the summer season, and ironically, it was on the plate to do it, but my furrier, one of them that I use, is battling cancer. So, and he's in stage 4. So I did not bother him about, furs, and he can't make it. But I am going to say a prayer for him at the show and pray that God will heal him. But I come up with different scenes and from different fabrics, because fabric to me is fashion. People think, oh, you can't wear leather, and you and I both, you can wear leather all year long, especially with this faux leather that they're coming out with now. And then they have colors. They have bright orange, they have yellow. So you can wear the fabric anytime, and it's really your personality. You and I would walk out now with a sequin sundress on and know we fly, and we'd hear what nobody said, with some flip-flops, so it's just really having an eye for fashion and trying to keep the audience engaged. That's what I love to do with my fashion shows.
Okay, so with the scenes, how do you decide which models are going to be in which scenes?
Okay, now with this particular show, because it was a fundraiser, and normally when you do stuff for the church, you don't have to be so strategically on. I normally will pick models based on their shape and size, but here I let everyone do all the scenes, but then I let them opt out what they didn't want to do, which lets me know this is not their comfort zone. So I won't push them unless I see the potential, and I'll be like, no, you got to do this scene. So with 22 models and with the many scenes that I got, that means somebody gets a break, somebody can keep on moving, and the show can just keep flowing, because I like to do the fast-paced shows. I don't like to do the shows where we're stopping every 5 minutes or we're waiting on models. I like to do fast-paced because it keeps the audience saying, wow, what's next? What's next? What's next?
Okay, so I'm going to be in most of the scenes, I think.
Yes.
And so I spent some time the other day making sure that I went through my closet and picked what closets and picked out what I was going to wear for each scene, along with the accessories and everything. I have my stuff together. And so, I was thinking, in terms of transitioning between scenes, trying to make sure that the things that I picked flowed well. How important is that?
Well, and I've told the models that when in picking your outfits, I've had them in the past, not you, because I knew you'd be good, but send me what you want to wear, and then if I see where we need to tweak it, I'll say no, add this to it, take that away, or do this or do that. So I've done that with quite a bit of the models because I want them to represent well, but I also want them to feel very comfortable in whatever they're wearing. But I lost my train of thought. Go back to that question again. I'm sorry.
Look, I don't know what the question was.
But with the models, most of them, like I said, like yourself, they're fashionistas, so they already have clothes in their wardrobe. Those who do not, I have gone into my closets and helped them out, accessories, things that I know would help out in the show. And I don't mind doing that because it's my show and I want it to be nice. But most of the women are happy, and they'll send me pictures. throughout this last 3 months of telling me this is what I got, what you think. And then I have 2 boutiques as well that I'm going to share with the girls that are bringing clothes as well, that we're going to do 2 scenes dedicated to these 2 boutiques. So I got to pick women to put in those clothing the day of the show. But I've already pre-picked some things based on what I know about each model, so.
Oh, okay. That was going to be my next question, because I was in a fashion show last year,
Mhm.
and in that fashion show, I did not model my clothes. I modeled uh,
Boutiques.
yes,
Mhm.
clothes. I was going to say designers, the
Mhm.
designer clothes, and some of the outfits were okay, but some of
Mhm.
them weren't necessarily my style. And so, I feel more comfortable modeling my clothes because I know how I feel in my clothes, which is very important when you're walking down the runway. Um, and so, you mentioned about the fur scene not having it this year. I have my fur all ready to go. So it's good to know that I don't need to bring it because
Right, right,
and ready to go.
right. Normally, what I do is I'll donate like 5 or 6 of my own furs, and I just said since the furrier can't bring any for the men because I don't have any male furs here except for 3 that were my late husband's, but um, I just say, you know what, he is not well. I've tried, I've tried to go to the store and say, listen, I'll bring him, but he hasn't been in. And that's when I know he's really battling this cancer because he's an entrepreneur. And when you're an entrepreneur, you show up when you don't want to show up. But now he's so ill, he probably can't show up.
Yeah, and I
So,
understand that. So you replaced that scene with something else?
yes, the boutique that wants me to highlight, I am going to replace her outfits in that. In
Okay.
that, yes, we're going to replace that.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. That sounds good.
Yes.
And so what can people expect when they come to the show other than seeing models rocking the wear?
I would say a good night out of fun, laughter. We need that back in the world today. These are everyday people that are coming out that are pouring their heart out. Some models have had some modeling experience, and some are newbies on the scene that want to break into it. And some are just some friends like myself, like you, and 2 or 3 of my other girlfriends that I asked, and they said yes, who are fashionistas. But just don't do fashion shows, but they come out every day fashionable. So it's gonna, and then you got some working class people, like some of the deacons in my church
You
who,
working class. What's that? What's
but
work?
no, well, see, I know you retired, but
Is work? Is that some new term?
some of these women are still working, and so and then I have some deacons from my church that are in it, which I'm glad to have them, and just to show that even though you work in the church for the Lord, you still can have fun. And you still can, do something great for a great cause. So I'm just happy to have a well-rounded group this year that I'm working with. It has been work because I'm one person. I have 2 salons that I have to run, that I have my own personal life that I have to do, then the show, and then I go to church, and it's just a lot. But I count it all joy. It has really kept me in days when I didn't want to keep myself, so seeing someone else be happy, and being able to change somebody's life, like that gentleman who said it gave him self-esteem, that has made it worth it all.
Okay. Let's see. Jackie says, "Don't do that. You remember work." I vaguely remember something about work. Okay, so there's a question.
Mhm.
Will there be food served at the fashion show?
Yes, we are having food for sure. Whenever I do, I'm from the country, so we're gonna feed you, girl. So yeah, we definitely have food. It's sit down dinner for the VIP, and some of the VIP can go and get up and get their own food if they don't want to wait to be served. But the general will have their own line, and the VIP will have their own line. It's definitely food involved. We have vendors that are going to be there. We have giveaways for general and VIP admission. We have a dessert stand. It's just going to be a really, really nice evening. That's what I'm projecting. And again, it's for a great cause because this is to help my church burn the mortgage.
So let me just say this. I had to really constantly remind myself that this is a church event. Because sometimes what I wear may not be appropriate for church or a church event.
Right.
And so, how concerned should I be about what I intend to wear at a church event?
Well, that's a good question because with the models, I did say that I'm keep in mind this is a church event. So if you're going to wear, what I call a mini, let the mini be at the knee. Don't let the mini be up your thigh. And I'm gonna just take it back to outside of church. I was raised, even if my parents weren't pastors, my mama wasn't gonna let me go outside any kind of way. Period. Point blank. So I tell young women, don't think because I'm doing it at the church that you have to come a certain way. We're representing God. And when you're representing that, we can't just go any kind of way. Now, because I am doing it for my church and I'm doing it at the church Wholeness Center, I have put stipulations to please, be mindful. My pastor would be there. My first lady would be there. My church, my mother would be there, who would call me up on the phone and say, what in the world was going on? But, you can be sexy, but but classy. And I think sometimes the less you show, the better. Because sometimes your outfits, you be fully covered and girl be smoking, fly, and then sometimes you be a little revealing where it is safe to be revealing. So, and then you got to know your shape. Some women wear things. That's another thing. I've been telling about shapewear. If you ain't got no shapewear and you need it, it's not a bad thing. Get it. Okay. I've been telling these young girls, you got to get shapewear. That's going to keep your shape when you get to be me and Sherelle's age, you still got your shape.
So George says, talking about me, you don't have church clothes, especially your CIAA.
Tell George, stop.
George, whatever. And that's the general consensus amongst my friends. And as I was picking out my clothes that I was going to the fashion show, this young lady was here and she was, kind of helping. And she was like, remember, it's a church event. I said, yeah, keep me focused.
Keep you focused. But you can
let's see, George said, Sherelle, you may as well help in the back.
Oh my God. Did this George go to state? Did he go to Virginia State?
I might as well help in the back.
Wow. No, she's going to be fine, George. She'll be fine.
I have another girlfriend who didn't believe that I could turn my wardrobe into a church outfit. But you got
to keep in mind that your outfit is not going to be church. It's going to be a reflection of you. It just may be toned down a little, that's all.
Yes.
But it's still going to be a strong reflection of you, your style, and all of that. And even with some of the young ladies who sent me things, that's when the tweak comes in. I said, no, don't do it this way. Do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to the club where it's got to be super duper tight. Make it a little bit looser because you are going to be in church.
Right.
So what this is, where these women think they have to wear stuff super duper 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 tight. I don't get that. It doesn't have to be tight like that.
It doesn't. I'm pleased with the wardrobe that I picked out. Yeah. It's very appropriate for a church event.
Right.
There are no crop tops. There's no bellies out. And people who know me don't believe I have things in my wardrobe like that, but I do. But I do try to dress appropriate for the event, right? If I'm at CIAA, yes, I feel, or homecoming, I feel a lot more free.
Yes.
To be able to, okay, this is funny. Jackie says, tight don't make it right.
Yes, Jackie. Amen, girl. Amen.
And I think the outfits that picked out for the fashion show are very appropriate for a church event. And
Right.
I kept that in mind because if I was going to CIAA or homecoming, I would do something different. I would wear the same
Absolutely.
outfit, but I'd do something different, and so I'm gonna be good. You don't have to worry
I'm
about it.
excited to see what you're gonna do, and you're just gonna light up the room. And we got some Virginia State family gonna be in the house, and they're gonna be cheering. I'm just excited. I can't wait.
Well, I'm gonna tell you the one thing I was most excited about, which is why I have them on now,
Uh-huh.
is the fact that I could rock sunglasses in the fashion show because I love sunglasses and
Yes.
it's part of my look. And to me, it just sets off the outfit if you have on the right glasses.
Yeah,
And
and
so,
your earrings. You always have fashionable
oh yeah,
earrings too.
yeah, yeah. Oh, I'm gonna be rocking some earrings.
How come you haven't started your own earring line?
Lazy.
Well, you retired, girl, and and you always look so nice with them on.
Okay, so being retired is not synonymous with don't have nothing to do.
Okay. Well, I know you got two new grandbabies, right? Or grandbabies, so I know you probably with the grandbaby. So
Well,
that's
I mean, I just have things to do. And so
okay.
one of the things I want to do on this podcast
Mhm.
is, and I've been talking to the people about it, I want to bring my glam squad on
Okay.
the podcast, right? Because I
Uh-huh.
have a hairstylist, I have my husband who picks out a lot of my
Mhm.
clothes, I have a lady that I buy my earrings from out of
Mhm.
Chicago, I
Mhm.
have my nail technician, and so I want to, and I usually pick out my own sunglasses,
Mhm.
but I want to have that show because again, it's about the total look.
Mhm.
And so I'm gonna be on my A game on Saturday. You could believe that. Oh, and also my makeup artist.
Okay.
And so I think all of that is important. Now, I don't typically use it. I typically do my own makeup, but for special events, I use a makeup artist. And the
Mhm.
fashion show to me is a special event, and I want to make sure my makeup is flawless.
Yes.
Because that's important, even though in some of the scenes I'm gonna have on my sunglasses. But I decided to wear my sunglasses for the podcast because I'm like, well, I'm gonna be rocking sunglasses in some of the scenes in the fashion show. And so most times when you see me, you're gonna see me with sunglasses on. Even though, and George, I'm getting ready to say this, and don't you say nothing. Even though, you know, I do my eyeshadow and then I put sunglasses on, so you can't even really see the makeup I have on. I don't typically wear foundation and stuff, but I will do my eyeshadow and my mascara and stuff. But then I put glasses on and you can't even see it. So,
Right.
um, okay, Jackie said, "Wow, you have a whole squad." Absolutely, I need a squad. I need a squad, and I don't need a squad because I'm incapable of picking my own stuff because I can pick my own stuff. I knew you, George. I told you don't say nothing. He talking about 6 colors on one eyelid.
Oh my God. No, you didn't. Okay. Wow.
So, so yeah, I think for me, fashion is about the entire package.
Hmm.
And one of the things that I recently got hooked on are the platform Converse
Yes.
for several reasons. One, COVID took me out those heels. I can't do those no more. Two, the Converse are very, very comfortable. I can stand and do what I need to do all day and all night. And three, they come in multiple colors. And
Hmm.
so I can get colors to match my outfits. And
Right.
so I think it's going to be important to show that look in the fashion show so that people don't think that they got to wear the traditional female heels to make an outfit look good.
Right, right. And see, that is your style, so if that is your style, I would say, do you, which I know you're going to do you anyway, but that goes back to women knowing what really works for them. And a confident woman knows what works for her. Like my girlfriends wear little short minis and we go out. I can't do minis. I do shapy stuff because I'm very shapely, but minis, I never did a mini because to me, it doesn't do anything for me. But a shapy dress, and some heels, that's me. So we all have to do what truly accents our beauty and works for us.
Oh, absolutely. And so, with that being said, I know we started a little bit late, but time has really, really gone by quickly. And so, are there tickets available still for the fashion show on Saturday?
They are going to close, hear me out, the Eventbrite tonight. So if you're
Oh,
on here, you need to go to the Eventbrite link. You can find it on my page. I think it may be on your page as well, and purchase your tickets now. I will go back and post it on my page when we go off of this live, but it should be on my page. You need to go there and purchase right now because they are going to close it tonight because they want to count and be able to set up for tomorrow and Saturday. But
oh,
it is a sold out event. For what I know right now, we've got probably 200 tickets sold. So, it's never too late. Keep going until that thing does not allow you to purchase a ticket. But this is what you can do. You can call me on 302 602 0507. Okay. You can call me, then you can Zelle me your money and I will hold the ticket for you. Okay. And then you can get in that way. But other than that, and I'm only going to hold the ticket for tomorrow. That's it. I will do that. I will hold for tomorrow. But the church is going to close the Eventbrite tonight.
okay, that's good to know. So, if you all are interested in not only supporting this fashion show, but also supporting me as a model and as your host of Let's Get Into It, and as a friend, family member, loved ones, all that good stuff, reach out. Let's get you a ticket. Let's get you to Wilmington, Delaware. It's not that far from where most of us live. It's a quick drive up. We would love to have you in the building, and I will promise you one thing, that I am going to bring it
Yes.
to the
Yes.
fashion show.
Yes.
So, Melissa, thank you so very much for being my guest today. I appreciate it. I apologize for the technical difficulties, but here we are. We made it work, and it worked out just fine. And it just occurred to me that I never went back to Instagram to hit go live.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
But it's all good. It's all good. My show is always going to be uploaded to YouTube. It goes live on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to my YouTube page, please subscribe to my YouTube page. I would appreciate all subscriptions. And then that way, you will also know whenever I am going live. Again, Melissa, I want you to sit tight for me. I'm going to take you off the screen for a minute while I do my What the Hell segment. And then I'm going to wrap this up and play my outro. And then you and I are going to debrief after I end the live.
Okay, great.
All right. So let's talk about what the hell. So I really want this message for both men and women, but more particular or specifically for women, because we tend to vocalize more often our insecurities about who we are and how we feel about ourselves. And so I'm going to ask you, what the hell are you thinking? When you look in the mirror, you should be thinking, good morning, gorgeous, right? I don't care what you look like, what size you are. I have been as small as in junior sizes when I went to college to a 16. And I remember asking my brother George, I sent him two pictures. One was a picture when I was heavier, and one was a picture when I was smaller. And I said to him, I had no idea that I had gotten that big. Why the hell you didn't say something? And he said, because you had so much confidence, I didn't think it mattered. And so, ladies, embrace your beauty. We are all beautiful. We look different, we act different, we are different, but we are all beautiful. Embrace it. Do not let others define who you are and how you feel about yourself. And if you find yourself amongst company who is trying to define you as something other than how you feel about yourself, you need to ask them, what the hell are they talking about? And I mean, really just ask them that question. I remember when I used to do this thing, I heard somebody say earlier about this concept about work, that a lady said to me, "You have too much confidence." Uh, and I said, and I don't know what she expected me to say, but I asked her, "Well, what does that look like?" And she got stumped. Because I'm thinking to myself, what the hell is too much confidence? Like, why can't I feel good about myself? I'm going to feel good about myself. And there is nothing anybody can say to me to make me feel any different. Ladies, use that approach for yourself. Take on your insecurities, put them away, deal with it, heal from it. You know, when I was a kid, my family, we joan on people a lot. And so they don't really care how you feel about it or if your feelings get hurt. So you got to suck it up, buttercup. But they used to say I had a big forehead. And so maybe I do, maybe I don't. I don't know. I don't really care. This is how I look. And this is the forehead God gave me. And yes, I wear my hair short with a big forehead if that's what people think I have. But that did not define who I am or how I feel about myself. And so you want to make sure that you are embracing your beauty. And if anybody says anything to you in the contrary, you need to start with this question: what the hell are you talking about? With that, I'm going to say thank you for joining me. I will not have a podcast in 2 weeks because I am going to be out of the country. And I don't want to tie myself up with trying to do a podcast from another country. But in another month, I will be back with you. I hope you will join me, and I hope that you will subscribe to my YouTube page. Thank you so very much. Have a great evening. I'm about to go out here and ride in this Cadillac that my husband then restored. That was his daddy's that he posted on social media. So I got to give him his time too, so that we can, look like we balling or something. I don't know. Maybe we just gonna look old. Anywho, have a great night. Thank you for joining and participating in Let's Get Into It. I want to thank my special guest for being brave enough to get into it. Without you, these conversations cannot happen. Remember, different viewpoints, respect, and love are the foundations of Let's Get Into It. If there's a topic you think I should discuss, drop me a recommendation. If you're interested in being my special guest, let me know, because we can and will get into it. Have a great day on purpose, and I look forward to your continued engagement and support as we get into it.